Hello and welcome to episode number 250 of the Launch Lounge podcast. In today's episode, you'll discover how to blend courses and coaching to create a business model that gives you more freedom and more profit. You'll learn exactly how to structure your courses and your coaching offers so both pieces work together to give you more freedom. So stay tuned. Hello and welcome to episode number 250. Can you believe it? 250 episodes. I am still wrapping my head around it. Thank you if you're one of those lifers who've been around since episode 1, or maybe if you've even been in my community since before I launched the podcast. I'd love to hear from you. And I want to say a special thank you to you for being hanging out with me, being here with me for such a long time. And if you're brand new to the Launch Lounge podcast, I also want to say welcome. I love hearing from you too. Shoot me an email, podcast@thelaunchlounge.com. I love to hear where you heard about the show and what you're loving most. And also, share with me if you've got any special requests for podcast episodes. Maybe you're getting stuck on that first launch, or maybe you're on your 10th launch and you're not quite sure how to scale it. Shoot me an email, podcast@thelaunchlounge. I'd love to hear that. When I started my entrepreneurial journey, I was a coach. I started as a coach. I had no idea how I can become an entrepreneur. I just knew that I no longer wanted to work for a boss, especially given that I just had my second baby. She was only 6 months old when I started my coaching business. And I was racking my brain for what skills do I have that I can transfer to a business. At some point, I enrolled in a nutrition course. I never finished it because #ADHD. And then I enrolled in a personal styling course. Never finished it because #ADHD. But when the tire hit the treads, or what's the expression? When it got serious, when I knew now I'm going to have to really follow through on something because I had 2 kids in daycare and I did not want to work full time. I knew I had to do something. So I found coaching and I enrolled in a coaching school that told me they're going to show me how to have a profitable coaching business up and running in 60 days. Didn't quite go that way. Not their fault. All my fault for not implementing what they were teaching me, my fault for just being a deer in headlights, as you might be familiar with that first few years of being an entrepreneur. But when I first started, I had no idea about courses. It wasn't a thing. I thought you go to a school to learn stuff. Even online schools were in my mind schools. And so I joined the coaching school, right? To learn from them. I didn't realize what they were teaching me was online courses. Anyway, fast forward a few years and I realized that this coaching thing isn't for me. I was having a really hard time selling my services. I did create a course which I taught to people live in a room where I could actually see them, hear them, feel them. But I just felt like I was still networking my little tail off to try to get clients in my local area. And it wasn't what I wanted. And it wasn't until one day I was sitting in a coffee shop and I just went, this business model doesn't work for me. This coaching thing is not working out the way I hoped it would. Who is doing what I want to do? And I'll never forget, I sat there in the Bodhi tree in Perth and I made a list of people who had the business model that I wanted. I hadn't even really figured out what their business model was. I just looked from the outside and said, well, they've got what I want. So what have they got? And I made a list, and on that list was Amy Porterfield, Marie Forleo, Denise Duffield Thomas, Gabby Bernstein, and there was one other person, I forget now. But I made that list and I went, what do they do? What is it that they do that means they don't have to go to networking events all the time? And I realized it is courses. And fast forward a little bit to when I launched my first course. I'd already been an ads manager for a while. So I sold one course, went back to my days. Anyway, I'm not going to tell you the whole story, but I did coaching, and then I sold some courses, and then I went back to my day job, and then I did consulting or ads management, and then I sold courses again. And once I'd successfully sold my courses and I had the agency, then I added coaching into the mix. And once I'd pivoted and discovered that all three of these things, courses, coaching, and consulting, actually goes hand in hand. The three things really complement each other very well. It was kind of by accident that I discovered that I could do all three, and all three would work really well in my business to help me start a conversation with someone when they're at the point where they just want to learn the skill that I have, and then coach them through the period where they're doing it themselves, they're implementing, they're making progress, but they're not yet at the stage where they can afford the higher dollar offers, the done for you services, right? The consulting. So I realized that I can meet the needs of a lot more people if I combine these three things. And my clients and my students and my coaching students get way better results when I can do all three things. And today, I'm not going to talk to you about consulting, because consulting is kind of a horse of a different color. It is its own thing. But I do want to talk to you about how you can successfully combine coaching and courses into your business model so that it works with you, and so that it actually allows you to work less, to spend more time with your family, less time sitting there with your laptop when you're at the soccer, or driving kids around and sitting in the car creating social media posts on your phone. Yeah, I know you do that because I've been there, right? So first thing I want to say about this is, let's ask ourselves, is this an either or thing? Do we have an either or mindset? I wish I realized sooner that I don't have to choose between the two. I wish that I realized sooner how well these two things can live together, can work together. And I wish that when I was doing coaching, I stopped thinking it would be easier to sell courses because I can do that to a larger number of people. That's literally a thought that I held on to for a long time. And then when I sold courses, I thought, well, I've got to do coaching because that allows me to charge more. Both of those things are true, but neither of them are easier. They both require the same marketing skills. They both require the same core things in your marketing. They require you to have an audience. They require you to make an offer that is desired by your ideal customer. And they require you to have some kind of a conversion mechanism, some kind of a funnel, a webinar, or a face-to-face call, or a video series, or an email series, some kind of a funnel. So whether you choose coaching or courses, either way, the marketing journey, the skills that you're going to need to learn in terms of marketing is going to be the same. Neither of these things are easier. They both require the same skills. Luckily, when you learn these skills with either coaching or courses, you can apply them to both, okay? So it's a common myth that you have to just choose one business model. I don't know how it works in e-commerce land, but in info business, in digital product business, in we used to call them influencers, or not maybe influencers a little bit, but these knowledge-based businesses, expert-based businesses, you don't have to choose. The reality is, most successful course creators naturally end up incorporating some degree of coaching. So how you combine these two things, whether you start out with coaches first and then move with courses and then move to coaching, or start out with coaching and then move to courses, doesn't matter either. It is likely that the value ladder you're going to create, value ladder is the Ascension model, the way in which you structure your business so that you can get a lot of people to come in at a lower dollar offer, and then you ascend some of those people to higher dollar offers, and then you ascend fewer than that number of people to even higher dollar offers. That's an Ascension model. So you go from in volume from high volume to low volume, but you go in price tag from low price tag to higher price tag. So how you ascend them is likely to end up being you start with courses, you move into group coaching, and then you move into one-on-one coaching. But if you're already successful at one-on-one coaching, it should be fairly easy for you to then translate your coaching content into a course and start building your audiences, because you're going to need volume on that end. You don't need as much volume with coaching. So if you think about someone like Tony Robbins, he is the OG coach, right? He's the original coach. But think about what he sells. For me, when I think about Tony Robbins, I get flashbacks of CD packs, infomercials selling his CD packs from the 90s, right? I don't know if you're my age, I'm sure it's a universal thing. I grew up in South Africa, and we definitely got a lot of Tony Robbins infomercials where he was selling his CD packs, right? But if you think about it now, he's been selling maybe over the last, I don't know if he still does a lot of conferences, but conferences is just another way of reaching the masses, right? And then when you go to one of his conferences, what do you get sold? You get sold coaching programs. And when you buy some of those coaching programs, what is the next thing you get sold on? You get sold on certifications, how to become a coach. And then the next thing is information on building a business. And so Tony Robbins' Ascension model effectively starts with books, conferences, coaching, certifications, then business training. Okay. So he starts by solving a problem you have in your life, your relationship, your mindset, your money, whatever, and then ascends you all the way up through a combination of coaching and courses to the higher level stuff that he sells for businesses. My mentor, Amy Porterfield, what a wonderful person. She is a wonderful marketer. She's been sticking to online courses for the longest time, right? For 10 years, she's only been selling courses, no coaching. Now she's moving into coaching. But if you think about the courses that she sold, she's always attached a 6 or an 8 week program where she did coaching in there as well. Now I see for the first time her talking more about business mindset and business coaching. So she's veering away from just talking about online marketing. She's talking more about business, which is more coaching related, right? But she's actually had some element of coaching for a very long time. If you think about someone like Gabby Bernstein sells books, right? Her entry into her world starts with books. That's what she sells. And then from there, she sells live events. She does all these live events. And from the live events, you can join a membership, which is a little bit like coaching. And then she has an online course that, the most expensive thing you can buy from Gabby Bernstein is her online course. So she packs the front end of her funnel with a lot of volume, right? So because she has this giant audience, because she writes a New York Times best-selling book every couple of years, she's bumping them out. If you think about the Life Coach School, right? Brooke Castillo. Now, I will say I kind of dug into Brooke a little bit to see what she's doing these days and if I can unpack her business model, because she's just changed it. And I used to be a member of the Life Coach School for a very long time. I think I was there for 5 years. Love it. Absolutely adore, love it. But because I haven't been a member for maybe 2 years, I'm not as clued up. And when I went in, because she's changing things up, I wasn't quite sure how she's doing this right now. But it used to be a membership that then ascends you into a certification. Now, what I can see is she's running list building ads. And then I can see she's got certification on a wait list. So she's running list building ads There's a wait list for certification, so I'm sure she's still selling certification. And then I see that she's taken all of the courses that used to be part of the membership, and she's now selling them as standalone courses on her website. Whether it's working for her or not, I don't know, but I'm sure she's got enough money in the bank that she doesn't have to worry too much about that. So I don't know what she's up to. But you can see that she's now selling her courses on Evergreen. It just sits on her website, and she probably has so much traffic coming to that site from the podcast that she's also stopped now, which is interesting for me. And, I don't know what's next for her. I'm keeping my eye on that because I'm very curious to see what she does next. If you've already proven that your course can sell, but scaling beyond 6 figures is becoming a whole nother job, then listen up. Look, after 10 years of running ads for course creators, coaches, and information product owners, I know that throwing more money at ads isn't always the first answer when you're looking to scale. That's why I created the Launch Lounge 30 Days Intensive. In just 30 days, my team and I will analyze your business, dive deep into your data, create your custom strategy, and give you a clear scaling roadmap without the ongoing agency fees. You'll get 2 90-minute sessions with me, a comprehensive business audit, and a customized plan guaranteed to increase profits or your money back. Ready for a freedom empire that grows while you enjoy your Friday morning Pilates? Visit thelaunchlounge.com/intensive to apply today. All right, so how do you perfectly pair coaching and courses together? I would say if you're starting out, the best place to start is create the foundation of your course content. Get all the knowledge that's in your head out of your head into some kind of structured model, something that is a little bit different from what all of your competitors are selling. For example, I sell Facebook ads course, right? A Facebook ads course. But my Facebook ads course is different from everybody else's. Some people sell Facebook ads courses for e-commerce businesses. Some people sell Facebook ads courses that says they'll teach you e-commerce info. You can apply it to anything. Don't ever take those, by the way, because e-commerce and info businesses are different. And then others would say, well, I'm just going to teach you list building, or I'm just going to teach you webinars, or I'm just going to teach you this one piece of ads. Whereas my focus is I'm going to teach you how to build warm audiences with engagement ads, $5 a day ads, and then I'm going to help you turn that into a profitable email list, and I'm going to show you how to flood your launches with hot leads using ads, right? So mine is very specifically focused around the course creator or the coach who does live launches. So what I want you to think about is, what is a scalable baseline knowledge, right? Something that gives newbies enough information so that they can ascend in your world, right? For me, there's no point in promising e-commerce people that they're going to learn ads from me. Can they? Yes, they can. Would it be beneficial for them to learn it? Yeah, sure. But I have no intention on ever ascending an e-commerce business into working at higher levels with me, because it's not where I have runs on the board. It is not an area that I can confidently say I know this business model inside out. I have never sold a widget. I do not know how to sell, stuff, thingamabobbies, right? But I can sell knowledge all day. All right, so establish your methodology. Figure out what is your unique take on the content that you sell. It has to be something that is unique and solves the problem that your ideal customer has. And then think about how you can pull a lead magnet out of it. What is one small problem that you solve in your course that you can easily pull out as a lead magnet and use to build your email list? And that when you use this as a lead magnet, it would automatically ascend your clients from downloading your lead magnet into your course, okay? So that's the first thing, is figure out what your course foundation is. Then work out what your strategic coaching layer is going to be. How are you going to take these people who have taken your course and move them into coaching? For me, when I launched the Launch Lounge membership, it was such a smooth transition. It was such a logical next step because I had just launched A-Lister. I think I launched it twice. I'd gone through 8 weeks of live Q&A with my students. And at the end of that 8 weeks, everyone basically said, how do we keep getting coached? How do we keep these coaching calls going? What do we have to do to keep these coaching calls going? And they loved it so much. And we had such a wonderful community. Shout out to everyone who was founding members of the Launch Lounge back in July, August 2020. All right. So you help your students implement the course material. You provide personalization and accountability and feedback. And you get those students to help you create case studies for success. So you take all those posts that goes up in your Facebook group where they post their success. Get those emails where they tell you how good the results are that they're getting. Create some case studies. Let them grab their phones and record some video testimonials for you, because you're going to need all of that when you launch the second, third, fourth, fifth time. And the more of those you get, of course, the less you have to work to convince other people that your course is great, because the more other people convince other people. And there's no better way to tell people your work is great than to have other people tell them your work is great, right? And of course, here's the other thing that is like critically important. Survey your students. Survey your students when they first enroll in your course. And the question you want to ask them is, what is it that you're hoping to get from this course? What is it that you want to learn? What is the challenge that you are that you're facing, that this course is going to help you overcome? And the reason you ask them this at the beginning is because it gives you information for your marketing. Next time, you're going to use more of that language based on what they said the challenge was that they had when you launch, so that you can put the right message in front of the right person when they're ready to buy. You're also going to survey them at the end of their coaching session, their live, whatever the live period of support is. And you're going to ask them, did you get the thing that you wanted to get? Or are you on your way towards getting the thing that you wanted to get? If they say no, then you have a bit of a challenge. You have to figure out, is it because you got the wrong student, or is it because the student got the wrong material? Okay. But if they say, yes, they did, then your next question logically is, great, I'm so glad you got what you wanted. Will you please give me a testimonial? All right. So those surveys are really important. And then you got to figure out how your coaching and your courses work together, right? So your course provides a foundation for your unique system or process. Your coaching addresses individual needs. It addresses the situational needs that your client, your students have that come up as they're implementing what you've taught them, okay? So each one strengthens the other one. And this way, you create a great starting point with your course and then an ascension model with your coaching. And that means you always have a full funnel of coaching students, because you're launching and you're filling up your coaching programs from your courses. All right. So some structural options that you have to choose from when you're deciding, how are you going to build your coaching? How are you going to build your courses? As far as coaching goes, you can do group programs, right? Group coaching. That's what we do in the Launch Lounge membership. You can do VIP days. I do both of those things. And I will share with you as well, VIP days, because I'm based in Australia and most of our listeners and most of my clients come from the US, I very quickly learned that I cannot package my VIP days into 24 hours, because my 9:30 in the morning is possibly going to be your 4:30 in the afternoon. And that's just not going to go well for either of us if we have to spend the whole day together, right? So what I did instead was I packaged my VIP day into a 30-day intensive. And over the course of 30 days, my team looks at your data, my team works on it, I work on it, you and I meet, we go back and forth, and you and I together over the course of 30 days nut out what's working in your business, what needs work, what needs help, what needs fixing, what's working great that you can run with so that you know exactly what to do next, right? The other way you could do it is an office hours model. That works really great as well, where you can say to people, and I will say this works really well for anyone who doesn't want to be on 24/7 or who doesn't want to reply to comments 24/7. You can have, times where you do group coaching with your students and then times where you have office hours. And during those office hours is when you will reply to their emails or to their posts where they have questions. It forces your students to be disciplined in how they approach you. It forces your students to understand that you're not available to them 24/7. And it creates a system that is reliable in terms of, I know when I can get help. I am not going to put something out there and then wait for a week and not know when I'm going to get an answer from this person. I know in these days, between these hours, if I have a question and I bring it, I'm going to get help. Or if I bring the question a few days before, I just have to wait until that time, then I'm going to have an answer. So office hours model works really well. You can also do implementation calls, which are a little bit more practical. Literally something like, let me sit with you and show you how I schedule the emails in my business or how I upload a podcast episode in my business, and then you follow along, you do along. Or it could be one of those implementation sessions where we just meet and we body double for each other. Everybody works on something that has to do with this program, but we're all doing it together for an hour and we all know that we got something done in that hour. And then of course there's hybrid masterminds. There's masterminds where people get together, and most of it is about community and about building connection. And then there's some guests that come in and meet, and those are usually more of a high level ascended coaching form of an offer, right? You usually do that when you have some volume in your courses and in your coaching business. As far as pricing for all of this goes, it will depend on a lot of different things. It depends on what your competitors are charging. It depends on what sort of problem you solve. So if you solve a lifestyle problem, you're probably going to price it lower than if you solve a business problem. The reason you can charge more for business problems is because this business problems often lead to making money. If you can solve a problem that makes someone money, you can charge more for it, right? Because you can literally say, well, this is worth X amount of money you're going to make, and therefore it is justified for me to charge this. Whereas if you teach someone how to do, French braids in their hair, you might not be able to charge $1,000 for that. I don't know. I'd love to see that if someone does that. But the more towards lifestyle stuff your coaching and your teaching leans, the lower your prices are going to be. And the more financial benefit you can attach to your coaching or your courses, the higher, of course, you'll be able to price it. The other consideration around pricing is how close do they get to you? How much of your time do they get? Courses, of course, they get less of your time. So the more coaching you do and the more high touch coaching you do, the more you get to charge, right? I have a friend who has a membership that starts at $59 a month. $59 a month is nothing, right? His students have written contact with him most days. You send him a message, he texts you back, right? Which is more than what I can do. I struggle to manage written text messages every day. But $59 a month, he'll text you back, right? From there, it jumps to $1,500. Now you get a weekly call in a group setting, right? And then it goes to $5,000 and then you get him one-on-one. The value he adds on the front end with that $59 a month membership, he can build so much volume in there. And then Easy to ascend them, very easy because he's got so much volume on that front end, right? But very few people can afford $5,000 a month for one-on-one consulting or coaching. That's consulting at that level, right? So you see, you can actually, if you get enough volume at a low dollar, you can ascend them fairly bigly, right? Bigly. You can go from smally to bigly very quickly. All right. So think about your value ladder and think about how you're going to build that Ascension model. All right. So what can you do this week to figure out whether you add a coaching or a courses offer to your mix? Audit your current offers. Which parts of your course would benefit from personalization? Where do students need most help? If you can identify that your students would get better results if they have more personalized help, then add a coaching element to the course, right? Then choose your hybrid model. Start with small group coaching, right? If you don't know where to start with small group coaching. Small group coaching gives you that sweet spot where you get to learn how to make an offer. So you become good at marketing. You get to work with enough people over a long enough time that you can build your signature education structure, which becomes your course. And you get enough experience coaching people that you know you can get them results, right? So start with group coaching, and then from what you learn and from how you learn to teach, you then create your course. And from your course, you will then get better students in your group coaching because they will already have a foundational understanding of your content. And from that group coaching, you can then ascend the best of the best of the best from that group coaching program into one-on-one, right? And then set up your systems. Set up systems to support you, to make it easy for you to have calendars that students can go and look at for your office hours or your coaching calls or when things are happening. Make those systems clear so that everybody knows exactly where the boundaries lie and what they can expect. And this is really important in your onboarding as well, all right? And then make your boundaries very clear. Communicate very clearly what your boundaries are. And do not be afraid to, even ask ChatGPT to help you draft an email or something where you respond and say, "Hi, I'm so glad you have this question. The appropriate place to ask this is there." Or the right time or the right way to do this is such and such and such, right? You've got to teach them how to be with you and how to get access to you. So remember, you don't have to choose between being a course creator or being a coach. The magic happens when you blend both in a way that serves your clients best while giving you more freedom, not less. This is about creating a business model that is sustainable and scalable and truly transformational for your clients. Next week, I have 2 very juicy episodes for you. Tuesday's episode is called Stop Wasting Money on Stupid Ads. Yeah, I didn't hold back with that one, right? And I'll share with you exactly how not to waste money and what's working really well right now. And on Thursday, we'll unpack the psychology behind pricing that sells. And if you've got a new course or a new coaching program that you're working on, you'll definitely want to listen to this episode. And until then, go build your freedom empire and don't be afraid to play around with coaching and courses. I'll talk to you again on Tuesday. Bye. Before you go, if today's episode helped you, imagine how many more lives could be transformed if other creators, coaches, and experts found these strategies too. Your shares and reviews help more course creators discover how to get their knowledge out into the world. Please take a moment to rate the show and leave a quick review. When you do, we get to reach more people and we make a bigger impact together. Because when more people who help people succeed, the world becomes a better place. Thank you.